Hi, Anett. I'm Candy from Nurturing Minds Kids Life Studio. Here with Anett. I'll let you introduce yourself first, Anett.
Hi, Candy. It's so lovely to see you today. Yes, you said, yes, I'm Anett. I'm a kids life coaching from the UK. I'm coaching online, one-to-one, and also in groups, also in Hungarian language as well. So it's lovely to see you again. How are you?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. I'm just so happy that you can spare some time to answer a few questions that I have.
It's great.
Oh, I thought you'd frozen for a minute there. Oh, so Anett, I know you are a recovering perfectionist. And also
Yes.
over the years, I know that you've also suffered from anxiety as well. Can you tell me a bit about what was it like for you growing up as a child
Yes.
with anxiety and being a
Yeah.
perfectionist?
I wanted to talk about perfectionism and anxiety with you today because I can relate to so many children having similar challenges, especially nowadays in today's world when everybody wants to look perfect and act perfect. And when I was a child, I always believed that I had to be perfect in order to be worthy of love. Otherwise, people, if I don't do perfect, then people won't love me. And I was kind of living in this fear of failure, of making mistakes, but if I made a mistake, then that would be just a proof that I'm not perfect, versus that meant for me that I'm not good enough, so I'm not worthy of love.
Oh, no. Hold on a minute, but do you know now that there's no such thing?
Yes, exactly. Yes, there's no such things as perfect. It was just a misinterpretation from my childhood, because there's no such things as perfect. But by aiming for perfection, I was just setting myself up for failure, which of course diminished my self-esteem. So I know how important it is to talk to children feelings as when you're feeling especially anxious, because perfectionism is linked to anxiety, also to depression and some phobias. But for me, especially, anxiety has increased in my life because I was worried about what others might be thinking of me, how they perceive me, fear of making mistakes. And because I was so anxious all the time, that had an impact, or sometimes physical symptoms as well, tummy aches. So that can, because these things can trigger physical symptoms as well. And also procrastinated. One of the things is comes with perfectionism, that you procrastinate a lot, that maybe set a goal, and you tend to set very unrealistic big goals that of course then you won't be able to achieve, that will diminish your self-esteem. And when you set big goals, then you start procrastinate about them, and you see it so big that you don't even start. So a lot of times you miss out on opportunities because you see the big goal, you procrastinate about it because you want to do this perfectly, that you don't even start in the end. And a lot of times, because I felt like I was not good enough, because I wasn't perfect all the time, I had this shame and guilt about my unworthiness, which a lot of times comes with perfectionism. So all of these things can bring a lot of anxiety into your life. And I can relate to that, those children, that they are going through the same things, but there's a lot of things that we can do about it.
Well, do you know what? Can I just go back to, there at the beginning, you mentioned something about not being good enough. So does that mean that you do worry about a lot of things, and maybe you always want reassurance? Because I know sometimes when I feel that way.
Yes, because you're coming from a space of lack of enough, being perfect. That's the only way you're feeling you're good enough, if you are doing something perfect. But because there's no such things, you're always coming from a space of lack. So it means that you are not good enough, you are not achieving enough, and you just always, you are kind of disconnected from the heart, because you are thinking in the mind, and that's causing an anxiety in the body.
Yeah. Wow. So what about things that what's really scary for you then? So being a bit of a perfectionist. What kind of things really scare you? Because I think what comes to my mind is things like, for example, problem solving. I guess you'd be too scared to start problem solving because it's something that you feel like as if, oh, I've got to get it right, I've got to get it right.
Yes, exactly. So if you see, for example, a problem that you procrastinate about it so much that, okay, how do I want to start it, to making sure this is the right way to do it? And then it just becomes so overwhelming that you just feeling the anxiety coming on you again, and then you freeze, because that's the other thing you can do as well.
Wow.
So yes, I can give you an easy example, like being at home, for example, that you want to do some new things that you haven't done before, then I would look at from all different angles before I started. So that's definitely slowing things down, and it can have advantages and disadvantages as well.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see
that. You know what? It just makes so much sense though, because I have to say that sometimes I do procrastinate, but then I don't think of myself as a perfectionist, but maybe I am a bit of a perfectionist.
I think we all have that, because we are high achievers. We all want to do our best, and there's a fine line when you say that maybe it's a little bit too much.
Do you find that you maybe compare yourself to others as well?
No, well, not anymore. I think it's not lovely that when you find a path, and definitely it's lovely to be and do, just follow your own heart. So I wouldn't say so, but I know there's a lot of kids, especially in today's world, and technology is open, and they go social media, they see other people, they look better, they do better things, and it's constantly, they have a reminder from the social media that maybe they are not perfect, they are not good enough, and it sends a message to them that they have to be better, they have to be perfect in order to feel.
And I guess with a lot of kids nowadays, it's also the peer pressure as well.
Oh, totally. Yes, absolutely. It's there. I always say that, yes, it can bring a lot of anxiety to them, and sometimes it's silence. You don't actually see them having those anxiety symptoms, but it's there.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Anett. And I understand it so much more now, because it does really make so much sense. So in terms of tips of dealing with perfectionism and anxiety, have you got any more tips for us?
Yeah, totally. I mean, what I would do, I think the most important is to sit down, and when you have an anxious child, it's great to talk to them about the feelings that they are having, whether it's fear or worry or feeling anxious, and just really tell them that all feelings are valid. These feelings are just there to send a signal in the body to tell that something is happening, and maybe something important is happening that is so important for them. And I think that also can have one, identifying those things that they worry about, because when you start listing them out, maybe all those worries, and then see what are the things that they have control of, and what are the things that they have control over, and what are the things that they can't control at all. And by listing them out, it will really help to identify maybe things that they can control. Some of the things they can't control, it will really go away. And some of the things that they can control, help your child to set some realistic goals to achieve that thing, so they will stop procrastinating. I can give you an example. For instance, if your child loves playing football, want to go and play in a team, but he's so anxious about going into a team, and because what the other people will think of him, he is not perfect, he can't do that. So help your child that maybe set some small goals. For instance, on the first time, go with your child, have a look at the team, how they are playing from the side. The second time, go again with him, maybe introduce him to the team, to the football coach. Maybe on the third time, let him to maybe stay with them and then maybe play, or just sit by the side with them. And then maybe on the fourth time, then maybe you naturally will start, wants to play with them. And if you do that and set realistic goals, but naturally you will be increasing his self-esteem, and he will start to experience and enjoying the process as well. So that, I think that helps really, because a lot of time is all about procrastinating and always want to be perfect and coming from a space of not enough. And then also, I think what helps is maybe try to find like a time in the day, preferably not in the evening, maybe during the day, and take like 10 minutes and 15 minutes. Sit down with your child and take a worry break, which means a worry time when you list out all these worries or feelings or anxieties that the child is feeling, and do this with the child, that feeling, and ask that, what am I feeling now? How am I feeling now? Okay, I'm feeling anxious. Why am I feeling anxious? Start asking these questions and things will come up. And once you identify them, it might not be that scary and worrying anymore. And also you can do the same now, that to identify what are the things that is in your control, or what are the things that is completely out of your control. You can do the same, only for a certain amount of time in the day, and then you don't need to worry about those things the rest of the day, but only on those certain times. And then also, I think the other thing is so important, that we tend to reassure our children, by saying, for instance, if this kid's really anxious about going and playing in a team, and we tend to just say, oh, don't worry about it, or oh, it will be all fine. We're trying to help, we're coming from a space of love. But sometimes reassuring a child is actually doing the opposite, because it just sends a message to the child that feeling, that anxious feeling that he is feeling right now is maybe not valid. He wouldn't pay attention to it. So he will go into denial, which will create a resistance in his body, and is going to cause more anxiety as well. So instead, it's great to identify that feeling, look at it, what can we do about it, and help your child through it, because then he's going to be more resilient the next time he will face similar issues. And I think lastly, I would say to give...
Wow, there's so many tips. This is brilliant.
Yeah, I think it is, because it's great to, find these things. I think the last one I wanted to say is, and it's really just as important as all of the others, that as a parent, when you're having an anxious child, it's just so it can be hard work, especially if those worries and anxiety is so big. Just give yourself some self-love. As a parent, you are working so hard, especially now we are in the same house for right now, all the time. Try to find some time, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, do what you love best. Fill your own cup first, and then you will see, you will be able to give so much more to your child and support why he's having perfectionism tendencies or anxiety as well.
Oh, do you know what? I love the last bit, the self-love. I love a bit of self-love.
Yes, we all need that, don't we? Especially at this time, I think we all can appreciate that more than ever, and it's more important. Yes. I know it's not easy to find that time, 15 minutes, but it's so important.
Definitely. Oh, wow. Annette, you've been absolutely amazing. You've just full of tips this morning. Brilliant. Thank you so much.
I'm really hoping it will help and support.
Oh, do you know, I think a lot
Yes.
of parents can take away a lot from all of this.
Oh, thank you so much for
Amazing.
having me this morning. It was so lovely to connect with you.
Thank you for your time. So that's me, Candy from Nurturing Minds Kids Life Studio, and Anett at Happy Kids Life Studio. We will let you share this with anyone that you think will benefit from it. Thank you very much.
Yes, exactly. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Candy. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.